Hey everybody, welcome to HMG's Will I Continue? Today I have a lovely and beautiful guest, called by the name of Ginger Bear. How you doing, sir?
What's up, man?
Hey,
How's it
thank
going?
going good, man. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thanks
Good
for
stuff.
having me, dude. I'm excited.
I'm glad, man. So, with the whole HMG, Will I Continue? Just give you guys out there in listening land that basically it's a show that I'm doing where we watch one episode of an anime, or one episode of anime for the first season, and that's it. We only watch the one episode, and throughout this whole conversation, we'll be talking about a few key points, the animation, if you liked it, if we didn't like it, what certain parts was the best that we thought of, vice versa, and at the very end, we will actually let you know if we will continue. And if we want to, we can say the reason why we want to, or if we don't want to, of course. So let's get this going. So we actually, for this episode, we actually watching. Also, just let you know, the guests, since I have guests coming on in the future as well, will always have the first choice or the choice of what we're gonna watch. So this is pretty cool. So it's a treat for me and a treat for the person who's never seen it. Um, so with this first episode or first anime we're gonna watch of is Hozuki's Coolheadedness. Just give you a little backstory, and this is coming from Wikipedia. So Hozuki, I think it's Hazuki or Hozuki. I don't know.
I say
Uh,
I say Hazuki, but I
Hazu-
think it's probably Hozuki.
Hozuki. Gotcha. I feel horrible like butchering these names, but I wish I knew
Oh
the
well,
dialect on that.
this is what Google is for.
Right. As you do that, I'm going to just go ahead and read this
Yeah,
from Wikipedia.
yeah. Go ahead.
So, Hozuki's Coolheadedness is a Japanese manga series that was written and illustrated by Natsumi Iguchi. I hope I pronounced that right. The plot revolves around Hozuki, a demon who works for the king and head judge of hell, which is Inra. Kodansha serialized the manga in the magazine Morning between March 2011 and January 2020. Oh, wow. That's 9 years. That's crazy. I didn't realize that long. Chapters were collected in 31 tankobon volumes. The manga was adapted into a television anime series, which we watched by Wit Studio, which Wit Studio produced the first season in 2014, and in a different studio actually produced the second season, Studio Dean, between 2017 and 2018. Wit Studio produced the three original animation DVDs in 2015, while Studio Dean produced one OAD, which is the DVD, in 2017. And Pine Jam produced three more OVAs in 2019, 2020. Oh wow, I didn't realize this was that old. I mean, it kind of looked a little bit like I was wanting to think like late 90s, but
Like I don't know. Like I don't have as much anime as experience as you do to like know the difference between the styles like as they've aged. Like I guess Dragon Ball Z. I was a big Dragon Ball Z fan.
yeah.
So I remember that anime style. This one was a little more advanced than that, but you're right. Like it is a little older.
It kind of felt that had the vibe of it being a little older. Um, but yeah, 2011, because I was thinking like this was like, remember the old Gundam back in the mid 90s? That's kind of like the anime, the the animation style I thought it looked like. I mean, if you all see it's on video, you can't see the animation style that's on this video. It's a little different. It kind of does. I don't know. It's different. I like how Hozuki's face is like serious, like nonstop, and
Yeah.
he does like this. You know what I mean? That's like
He's
I
very
love the
proper. He's like
yeah.
a I don't know how to explain it. Like there's got to be a character out there that's kind of it's like if Bruce Willis met Niles from Frasier. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like just this hard dude, but he's just like super nice and kind and
Kind of almost want to say not jolly, but like in a serious jolliness. You know what I mean? He's like kind of very
yeah. Well, he's
sarcastic.
very just mundane. You
Yeah,
know
he
what I'm
is.
saying? Like he just doesn't show his attitude one way or the other,
Yeah.
which is one of the things I like. Like he was kind of unpredictable.
Yeah, he was. I mean, you couldn't read him, and that's about the character for me. I loved you literally could not read him at all. His
Yeah.
like literally the whole straight face, get thing stick. It's I don't know, it's crazy.
I have that same problem. No one can ever tell if I'm being sarcastic or not.
Yeah,
They're just
I
like, "Wait,
yeah.
are you making fun of me, or are you like, are we joking together? I can't tell."
Oh, that yeah, I don't know. I kind of have some of this experience with you sometimes too.
That's
Um,
funny, man. I'm sorry.
it's all good.
That's just the way that I am. But I promise I always have good intentions. I'm always a nice person.
That's what he
And
says
on the
now.
inside, it just doesn't come out that way.
Oh man, so what did you think of that first episode? What was that first episode? What was that
So
name? Because this was kind of weird. It's a two. Remind me of like the '90s cartoons. Like you have two episodes in one.
yeah, the first one was Making or Breaking Hell.
Making or breaking hell. Yeah. So this is what kind of gets you into knowing, or I don't know if this because I haven't watched the second episode, but it kind of goes in the introduction of that there is what how many, can't remember, so many hells.
Oh, I got it
There's
written down. So
8.
there's 8 hells
Mm-hmm,
that are like hot and above, like the higher levels of hell.
mm-hmm,
Then there's 8 lower levels of hell that are ice, they're cold.
yeah.
And then but the thing that it added that I loved was there's 272 subdivisions
Like
of hell.
what?
Like I don't know if that's actually in Japanese mythology, but that's hilarious. Like just to think that there's 272 departments running on each layer of hell, trying to keep shit organized.
Oh my god, yeah, because in the first episode they go into this thing where you first get introduced into Hozuki. Or Hazuki. No, not so you actually get introduced to the whole spill of there's heaven and hell, and then there's 8 greater hells and 8 cold hells. And then it goes to the subdivisions, like you said, and then we get into right in the first episode. Should we touch on this, like the whole goofiness? So we have the serious introduction, and then after the serious introduction, we get this jingle. Remember the whole jingle? It's like oh
Yeah,
man, it's gonna be all serious.
it's like
I'm
this, so to just to like preempt this for people that don't know me. I'm a huge I'm a fan of dark comedies. I'm not a huge fan of anime. So when I found out that anime dark comedies existed, I was like, oh, I have to watch that. That's got to be what I choose. So I'm like looking through lists trying to find one that sounds cool. And I found this one, and I was like, dude, that sounds really cool. Like it would be funny, hell's a bureaucracy. That'll be great. And it was not at all what I expected. But
yeah.
we'll get into that. But like, just it was definitely crazier than I thought it was going to be.
Oh man, I forgot to ask you what do you like about anime? That's something I forgot to introduce yourself. I got a whole spill of everything. If you want to
Oh
do that
no,
at the
you're
end,
good,
or you want
man.
to do it
We
now,
we got to talking.
yeah,
Um,
we
yeah.
can do it
So
at
like
whatever.
like history of anime. Like I've really only seen a handful that I like. And some of them not even enough to like finish, but just enough to watch an episode here and there.
Hmm.
But the ones that I do like, I'm crazy about. Like Trigun is my favorite all-time anime,
Hmm.
and just the goofiness combined with the awesomeness that is Vash the Stampede, the humanoid typhoon. Like I knew I had to watch that show as soon as someone told me that dude's full name. I was like, man, that is an awesome name. I have to watch the show.
Hmm.
But that's probably my favorite. And then from there, nothing has ever accounted for it. Like I like Cowboy Bebop, okay, but the most popular ones I can't ever get into.
Well,
But
hopefully,
that's why I chose this one, because I was
yeah.
like, I've always wanted to be into anime. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Like all my friends love anime. Like
Hmm.
everybody raves about it, and I'm never able to get into it. So I was like, ooh, a dark comedy anime. I'll definitely be into this.
Well, hopefully, with this, when we have this conversation here that we're gonna have now, we're already having, of course. Hopefully this will get you into it. If not, be another guest in the next future and pick something else, because there's so many genres of anime, and I love
Yeah,
this. I
that's
love it.
what I was saying, man. Like when
Hmm.
you first asked me to be on here, I was like, dude, I want to be on there all the time because it'll
Hmm.
force me to watch anime.
Yeah.
And any other time, it takes I watch like one anime a year, and I usually dislike it after like 3 or 4 episodes. So it just doesn't amount to a whole lot.
Gotcha. Oh man. But hopefully this will get you into it, but we'll find out here soon. So with the episodes, get back into the anime here, since I rudely forgot that piece. Asking you.
Oh, you're good, dude.
Um
It's all good.
so with this episode we were talking about the 8 greater hells, and then we go into the jingle, and that's when you go into this. Okay, so with the jingle, What do you think? I know that you like the dark animes, but this jingle after this dark, serious tone introduction of explaining for eight greater hells and eight colder hells,
Right.
you know,
It was
272
definitely
subdivisions are after the war. Hell, you know, got overpopper or something like that. Or, I don't know, some blah blah blah. You know.
yeah, it was definitely my first laugh of the episode.
Mine too.
Like as soon as the intro came on, I just started cracking up. I was like, "Oh my god, that is hilarious!" It's just like this poppy, like almost like
Kind of makes you
what
want to just
is
bounce your head like
the
this.
yeah yeah what's the Indian dancing that's been really popular
I
for
don't
like
know.
the last 8 years? Like it really started making its way into America
Mm-hmm.
when Slumdog Millionaire came out.
Oh, I don't.
It became like a big thing, Bali or something like that. But
I don't know.
it kind of reminded me of that. Like everybody's kind of dancing in sync and like it's this weird poppy sounding song, but we don't know what the lyrics say. Like the lyrics could have been horrible.
You're right. I think I don't. I think I had the sub on. Well, of course we did, but I mean, I don't know. I don't remember if it went into the name or the what it was saying. I can't remember if it did or not.
I think my subs were in Japanese. Like I
Oh,
had subs on as well,
yeah.
but the subs for the
Oh,
song didn't have the lyrics. And I knew this
gotcha.
was like a first impression thing, so I didn't want to Google, but I'm definitely Googling as soon as we're done with this so
Yeah,
I can know what those lyrics say.
it was so yeah, like I said, it was so poppy. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was like it definitely put me in a better mood. It was like, okay, what I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch? You know, okay,
It
I'm gonna
really
get that
was.
dark tone. Okay, what am I gonna watch? You know, is it gonna be all
Yeah.
blood everywhere, splatter everywhere? No, then you listen to that song and dance. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. I'm not a gore fan, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
have chosen anything gory. But yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from. I'm that like when you start watching an anime and you're like, oh my god, this is about to be just bloody.
Yeah. Oh man, but then after that, I mean, it goes right into after that hilarious jingle, it goes right into an office of in hell, and then it goes to the brief thing of like going into there's so many people in this room, and it's a big giant office, and then you have like a big desk. I'm trying to think, remember that scene, and kind of goes an explanation of what's going on, and that's when you first meet the head dude in hell.
Right. I
I
don't
can't
remember
remember.
his name. I just
Yeah,
remember him as the king.
yeah.
But yeah, that first scene was definitely interesting. I was laughing during that one too. Just like I mean, there's like 12 people surrounding the dude, all yelling that they need something done right now, and he just doesn't know what to do. He's just like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know how to handle all this." But like
I,
one of them was that heaven needs an extra worker, so they're trying to
oh,
borrow someone from hell. They
yeah,
needed a requisition for work. I
yeah,
thought that was hilarious.
yeah, I know. I thought they were supposed to be against each other, but here you're seeing them working together. I'm like, what? And it's
Yeah,
about the Shangri-La area. They need extra help. I'm like,
yeah.
what?
Which is funny because I think that's like the most beautiful area of heaven,
Is it?
according to the mythology. So, like to think, I got sent to hell, assumedly because I was a bad person, but I don't,
Yeah.
who knows why I went to hell,
Hmm.
but like you get sent to hell and then they're like, oh well, you get to do your day work at heaven. It's like in Shawshank Redemption, the prisoners that got to drink a beer while they were, re tiling the roof or whatever they were doing, tarring the roof.
That's actually one movie I've not seen. I think I've seen like bits and pieces.
Really?
I'd seen bits and pieces of it, like when I was a kid when my father watched it. But yeah, yeah. But anyway, that's another movie
If
I
you
need to
ever
do.
watch it, you'll get that reference.
Oh man, I need to
You'll
not
think
watch
about Hozuki.
it. But yeah, then he's like, "Oh crap, my head person is buried with stuff." And he tries to, well, I forgot. He tries to send somebody to get Hozuki to get somebody to help him get into help heaven with Shinra-La, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then
Yeah. So they went. The lady that needed a worker for heaven was the one that he sent to Hozuki.
yeah, and
Yeah, and then it just the craziness starts.
yeah, it's like, and then we get introduced into him, and like he's this mysterious, like dark figure in a black and red robe. And I was like, and you think he's all serious, and then he's like, basically, he gets in that bad attitude because, oh, I'm overworked, basically, and what we need more, we need
Yeah.
help somebody else in heaven. What?
And then he
We got this
punks
stuff
the
to do.
king too. That was the
Yeah.
coolest thing about him, I thought, man. Like, because he was like, super serious, and they're
Mhm.
asking him, and he's like, "Why would I send a worker to heaven? Like, we're not gonna do that."
Yeah.
And she says something about, the king told me to come see you, and he's like, "Oh, let me guess. He already told you that we're gonna do it."
It's like everybody's like, it's like that love hate boss relationship.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's hilarious. And then crap. And then after that, he's doing something. I can't remember what he's doing. Then the whole spill of and then there's a
That's when
random dude, right? Or hold on,
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's when like somebody else comes running up to him because like they were talking about how busy he was, and
mhm,
so this lady comes in with this request, and he's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I have to deal with this too."
mhm.
And then someone comes running up, and they're like, "Hey, we've got a problem with this other dude that came to hell. He keeps trying to fight everybody. Can you come take care of this?"
Oh yeah,
So then you
the
see like how many hats that dude wears. Like
mhm,
he's got to be the admin guy and the bouncer, like the dude's
mhm.
HR and security at the same time.
HR in
No
hell. I'm sorry.
wonders, right?
What the hell?
Almost that's one of the 272 subdivisions,
That's
man.
right. Oh man, and yeah, that random dude. That he was the ogre master, ogre
Yeah.
fighter, or something like that.
He
Ogre,
was
like
like yeah, what it amounted to, like he was like a hero
yeah.
in his life,
Hmm.
and then he died and went to hell, and you find out why later.
Hmm.
It elaborates on why he went to hell and that kind of thing. But
Hmm.
he's then my favorite thing about him, he had three pets that were
Hmm.
with him, and it was almost like Pokemon, like he
Yeah,
had like a rabbit and a squirrel and a rat and what was the other, oh,
it
the
was the
bird,
bird, the
the
rooster.
pheasant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really something, man. I laughed at that too. I was laughing hard at those animals, and then
Oh
the
my
rooster was just hilarious.
I'm just here for
So
job
I
security,
had to
basically.
laugh at him.
And he said, my
Yeah,
occupation changed. I like it's something
yeah,
about job security, blah blah blah. I'm looking for something
right.
else
He's like
eventually.
he's like the old guy that doesn't really want to be there, but he's like, I
Yeah,
guess I'll stick around because they give me a paycheck.
that's right. And then the funny part is like the whole battle between Hozuki and the animals. Because the ogre guy doesn't want to
Yeah,
fight Hozuki because he's scared he's gonna beat the
yeah,
crap out of him. So he sends his I guess his pets. I don't know what they are. They're
right.
assistants or something like that.
Yeah, I thought that was messed up. Like, because like he knows he's gonna get his butt kicked, so he's like, oh, I don't even have time to deal with this guy. You go fight him. And then one of the guys goes and fights. But I notice the first guy goes and fights because Hozuki makes him, right? And the second guy fights because Hozuki tells him to. But the third pet went up to fight because he just saw his friends get messed up. So
Yeah.
I feel like that was something that you got to see out of those guys that kind of was like a redeeming quality,
Hmm.
um, because they're just attacking this dude, but then like you see, they have
Hmm.
this close friendship with each other.
Yeah.
They wanted to
That,
save each other.
that was a cool like a relationship, friendship bond that they had. But what I find hilarious though is they battle in insults. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Because the first one, he battled. I forget what he said, but I remember the second one that was like, well, according to this, you blah blah blah, you owe so and so much money or something. You stole so much money from in another life, and that killed him. Not killed him, but passed him out. Like the
Right.
third one is like, you're not
Yeah,
worth
he's like calling
anything.
he's like calling out their sins.
I know. I was like,
Yeah.
what? And
That's
they,
it's like they die of shame.
that's
Like,
right.
oh,
Like, oh,
oh man, he
they're
knows my
dropping.
deepest, darkest secret. I may as well just die right here.
Oh my gosh, that's something you guys have to watch. It's straight up hilarious. I mean, you think it's gonna be all serious kind of, but it's just very sarcastic humor, and it's very funny. It
Yeah.
surprised me, to be honest.
I
Um,
really wish that like I could speak Japanese,
mhm,
like because I feel like there's so much that I missed just from context.
mhm,
You know what I mean? Like the way that someone's talking to you is going to change how you perceive it. So like if someone's being sarcastic or being overly bubbly, like we don't notice those things because we don't know,
mhm.
the inflections of the language. But
Yeah.
I feel like it would be like 10 times more hilarious
Oh yeah.
if I could understand everything they were talking about.
Oh, I know. That's the reason why you generally want to. Before I hear, I usually just listen to dub and watching dub, but every once in a while, I used to be a huge advocate for it. Oh, just watch the sub, because that's what I did. But then it's easier to listen to, or listen to if you're driving a car, whatever, in dub. But most people say, sorry, went a little rant, but most people say
No, you're good.
watch and sub because you'll have a better understanding of what they're actually meaning with the translation. The dub, they'll add what they think they're actually meaning versus what they're saying, from what I've my understanding and what I've seen between the differences. Because a sub could be the best thing to watch and read the text because you understand the context better, where a dub could actually kill the actual mood that the original creators or artists were trying to convey. But
it's like Shakespeare.
Right.
It's like watching a modern Shakespeare movie and, how did we interpret that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you ever see the Romeo plus Juliet movie? Completely sidetracked, by the way. Sorry.
It's okay, no,
with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I didn't care for it.
Okay, so that movie is awesome. I loved it.
Really? I didn't care for it.
That was one of my favorite movies.
Gotcha.
But the way that they used the original language and then had guns though, and
that was cool. Yeah,
were in gangs. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, that part I did care for. I did like the swords and were the guns, and then how they were speaking to each other in literal. I don't know.
And like John Leguizamo yelling at the dude, "Do you bite your tongue?" Or what did he say? Something like that. Do you bite your nail at me or something like that?
Yeah. It means kind of something completely different. It was crazy. I remember that.
Yeah. Bite your tongue at me. That's what he said.
Yeah. But it's kind of like this, how, sub and dub are. I'm curious if how this piece would be in dub. If you ever do this, Netflix, which I've seen, I think Hulu might be the same way too. If you watch it in the English and turn on the English, so if you hear it, watch it in English, turn your subtitles on, the subtitles say something completely different than what they're actually saying. So I like to see both. So I can see both perceptions, of course. Which
I'm the same way, man. That's how I like to watch all my Japanese stuff. Sweet, I like to hear it dubbed, but then be able to read the original text.
Mm-hmm. It definitely helps. If you guys ever listen to us, it does help. If you're trying to get an understanding of what they're meaning by when you read the context and the dub, you can either love it or hate it. But yeah, I wish I would see what they're talking about. But then of course after that, the three animals they don't really die. They kind of pass out like in Pokemon. They die when they passed away or just fell asleep. And then and after the ogre is like. And then he tries to challenge him, and he brings out the ogre dude brings out his sword, and then Hozuki brings out his heavy metal club, steel club. He just breaks the sword. It was like one whack. So, oh my gosh, it's crazy. And then he just sounds like cries, whatever. He just boo-hoos,
and then he just best slap I've seen in a long time. just slaps him across the face.
That and then basically after that, I mean, he goes a little heart story and how Hozuki's actually building him up. Crazy. I know you're an ogre master in this other life, and he's basically building him up, and it's okay. Basically, you're this, but remember, you got to pretty much, show humility, basically, and not be so hyped because you're basically, you're here now. And then he actually hires him at the end of this show, they actually hire him into the Shangri-La. And then the other pets, and then the other subdivisions, I guess, would be Torment, and then there's the Animal Tormentor, subdivision. Remember that? That goes into the smaller divisions.
Things, man. When he was because early on in the episode, someone said something about they needed some new people in animal torture.
Animal torture,
and,
that's it,
and so I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
By the time that rolled around, and then he so after he hires the dude for Shangri-La, he's like, "Are you guys interested in joining our animal torture division?" And then one of the best scenes I thought in the entire show was with it was close to the end. But with the pheasant pecking the dude's eyes, they're all torturing this human.
He found purpose,
or the pheasant, just pecking the dude to death.
God, hey, everybody has to play a role, right? I guess you're somewhere stuck forever.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool though. It showed that Hozuki has some leadership skills. I thought.
Yeah.
Like that he built the dude up, and he kind of broke him down and built him up all in one little scene. And doing it knowing, I can send this guy to Shangri-La and everybody will be happy.
Yeah.
with the situation. So like he was very level headed and just like knew exactly what to do to solve the situation.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And then what was so weird too at the very end, it was, I wouldn't say disturbing, but to me it just really caught me off guard. Where one of his hobbies is he goes in and, well, you see him at the field and you see these goldfish on top of these stems, like leaf
Yeah.
stalks, wherever they are. And I'm like, what is this? This is so weird. And then come to find out they're goldfish flowers or something like that. I think they called it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
It was
something
so
like that. Like
bizarre.
they were plants
Yeah,
that he
goldfish
takes
plants.
care
Yeah.
of, but like they're living plants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was really weird. Like that's about the time that everything started getting weird, I thought, with the show. Like I was
Oh,
like,
that's
what
the only
is
time.
that? Like I thought it was super cool.
Yeah.
And then the next episode kind of leans into, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe that was just the end of the episode.
I think that was
Like
in
the
the
whole
episode. I think,
no,
is it or no?
no.
No.
They talk about it more in the second episode.
Okay.
That's right. So in the second part,
Yeah.
they talked about it. So yeah, like the first part, I was like, oh, that's cool. There's goldfish plants. You know, that's something that you don't see every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when they started actually like talking about how it's a contest and stuff, like it's a huge thing. It's like raising roses and priming them, you know,
Mm-hmm.
perfect or whatever. That whole episode was just kind of weird.
It was bizarre.
But I'm yeah, like it was definitely strange. It felt very Quentin Tarantino-ish. Like it was all dialogue.
Oh yeah,
Like
it did.
you
I
don't
can see what you're saying.
you don't see a whole lot of shows that are brave enough to do that,
Mm-mm.
to say, hey, I'm not gonna shoot, 1,000 scenes. We're gonna have, 3 scenes, 2 of them are flashbacks, and the rest of them are, 2 people sitting talking to each other. Like
Yeah.
it's not something you see very often.
Mm-mm.
But it was cool. It was just kind of weird. Like they're just like kind of just droning on about what they like and what they don't like. Is Hozuki and the King.
Right. So this just goes.
We didn't say that. Yeah.
That's okay. It's all good. This we're talking about the second episode. It's called the Scurry of Hell's Mysteries, and like Ginger saying, it's literally them. The scene is literally them sitting at a desk, almost like a company's lunch area, basically.
Yeah, like the
It's hilarious. Cafeteria, and they're just here in front of TV and just chit chatting, and that's what now again.
Yeah, they're like watching TV. Like the first thing they talk about, like there's the TV's talking about Australia.
Yeah.
And so they're talking about how much they need a vacation and how much they, should all take a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I thought the King goes into like a whole almost like a misogynistic view about it, about how like wives should be, or the reason wives are the ones who do that is because husbands don't have the time, or they never take the time to actually do it. They just talk about it. But he's thankful for the wives for doing it. But
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And then but then it just leads down tangents. It seems like it's like everything they talk about is just a tangent of the last thing they were talking about. Like they start talking about their favorite animals, like because they see kangaroos on the TV and like they say kangaroos are creepy, and like all this random stuff about animals. And like you find out Hozuki loves animals. Like every time he goes to like Earth or any of the other places, he goes to the zoo. And like he talks about how cuddly wallabies are. Like it was just odd, man. Like it was not the same Hozuki, it felt like, but he was still just straight faced.
Uh-huh.
He just talked like this the whole time. He's just very serious, and everything he says is important.
It is, because I mean, this is where you kind of almost get, and to me, it almost felt like 2 coworkers sitting in the lunchroom, they're on break, and they're just shooting the shit, chit chatting. It's like
just learning about each other.
Yeah, basically, and it's the boss and the guy right below the boss, basically having lunch. And like I said, we're just,
and he punks him again in that episode though. Like Hozuki has no respect for the King whatsoever.
He basically thinks he's just a big old goofball, just there making horrible decisions left and right, basically. That's how it feels like. It's like, you suck at being a king.
It really is like management. Like this is, the more I think about it, man, the more perfect this show is at depicting that, what it's like working in one of the offices in a giant building. Like,
yeah. It's hilarious, and then they just go like random. They and what causes because they're watching, like you said, the TV. This Australia, and there's some kind of ad or sweepstakes or something like that you can enter a win. I
Yeah.
think right, and they just kind
Yeah,
of
it was
go,
like a
why do you
trip
want
to
to be in
Australia or
Australia?
whatever.
Yeah,
But then they start talking about the animals,
hmm
and then the king turns it around to what kind of women do you like?
hmm
And like there's a woman that's like on a safari or whatever playing with animals. She's like the Steve Irwin of
yeah,
the of the show, I guess.
yeah,
But she's playing with these animals, and like Hozuki starts talking about things that he likes in women. And like one of the things, like she picks up a beetle, and he's like, "Oh, I like people who are unfazed by bugs." Like
yeah.
that's
It's like what?
one of his criteria for a good woman,
Oh my gosh.
And then like there's a snake. He's like, I like women that don't cringe at holding a snake. And then like this boa constrictor is just choking the woman on the
She,
TV.
they seem like, oh, she's so cute.
Yeah.
That's actually being strangled
It's
by a
just
boa
it's weird.
constrictor.
It's weird that Hozuki, yeah, like he's kind of just dark, like
hmm
that's some weird stuff to want in your lady.
Oh, it's definitely a trip. Oh man. But yeah, I mean,
Oh
just
yeah,
kind
and
of.
I was just gonna say, and then they have the conversation about the goldfish.
Yeah.
They talk about how like Hozuki won the contest so many years in a row
hmm
that that he's a judge now, so he
hmm
doesn't even compete anymore for the biggest goldfish. That was the big prize, and that comes up at the end is the only reason I mention
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
and
just so we remember
yeah,
to
that's right.
loop back on that one.
That's right. I forgot about that because the whole it wasn't how it was. It wasn't how they looked. It's how they could scream the loudest,
Oh
right? They could
yeah.
scream like,
Oh my gosh.
ah! It's like
It was like
what?
a Yeah, it was like a supersonic high pitched metal
hmm
scream almost. Like it was
Yep.
just the insane high pitched noise.
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes out of these beautiful plants that are just so cute and kind of dancing in the wind,
Yeah.
and he's always watering them, so they got water trickling down their face. It's just like this peaceful looking
Yeah.
plant
It,
fish.
it was. I mean, if you think about it, it is. It was very peaceful. I mean, they did sway at the same time. Like, oh, it's kind of, hypnotic almost, like just chill, tranquil. And then all of a sudden you just realize they're fish on stems. Like what?
Yeah, it's like they're like weapons. They would be weapons on Earth. We could disable armies with these screaming goldfish plants.
I'm like, you see some grab those fish and they just hit them with the fish tails go at someone's face. You're dead.
Yeah. And then like oh man, that episode was just so weird because it kept
Mhm.
jumping all over the place. But in
It was.
hindsight, like as we talk about it, I'm remembering just how funny
It
all of
was.
that stuff is. Like looking
hmm
at it, like when you really look at it for what it is
hmm
and not what you expect it to be,
hmm
it was pretty hilarious.
Yep.
It
And there,
definitely had some darkness to it.
it did. I mean, just like the nature of Hozuki, who he really was. You really learned more about him within that 5 minute talk. Like the episode was like
Yeah.
what that
And the way
because it's 5 minutes long, maybe or 7 minutes long. It felt
Yeah, it
like.
was short. It was
Yeah.
short for sure. And like I feel like I don't have Crunchyroll Premium, so I had to watch commercials. It wasn't as short for me.
Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
Crunchyroll does not like Google Chrome. For anyone out there who's thinking about watching Crunchyroll on Google Chrome, don't do it. Just download Firefox. But yeah, like I thought there was a really good parallel, like the same episode that the dude sends these animals to torture people in hell. He sends another dude to heaven so he can work in peace because he'll fit in better. He'll like it better, thus be more productive. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
that's such a contrast in character that he could
Yeah.
have that kind of compassion and
Mhm.
sympathy, but also think about torturing people. Like
Kind of demonic.
mhm.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean,
It was
this
crazy.
yeah, it was. I mean, I really feel like and then oh yeah, at the end, oh yeah, there were quick discussion too is like they were talking about how they don't how he never has time to take a vacation. Like that's the reason why he only grows the fish. The
Yeah,
fish roll. He has
that was
no
his peace time.
yeah.
That's what he talked about. He said,
hmm
at lunch I started taking a lunchtime, and at lunch I can go feed my
hmm
goldfish and water them. And
Yeah.
it was like his peace.
Yep.
It's
And
what
then
centers him.
yeah, and then all of a sudden at the end of that sweepstakes, and him saying talk about this. Oh yeah, I like her. She's a cute girl. He wins the sweepstakes to go to Australia.
Yeah. So this is where I wasn't digging the second episode
Mhm.
when I watched it the first time. It was just too odd for me, and like I couldn't get into it. Couldn't get into the vibe. Um and then right at the end of the episode you find out he wins this trip to Australia, and just in my brain goes, well, I kind of want to see what Hozuki does in Australia. Like that sounds like that sounds like something cool.
So with that then, let's go into this then. That's sense for you to say. This is kind of what you can kind of get you at. What did you like most about the entire episode? Like, because okay, so like we said, guys, it's one episode, but it's really two in one. You get a two for one. Okay, so it's in the entirety. What was the best part you think you liked about it? Basically, what was the thing?
Man,
The high
like
piece.
the humor was definitely there
Mhm.
with me. I like kind of the dark humor stuff. I
Mhm.
find that stuff funny. And then just Hozuki's character, man.
Mhm.
Like just someone that could just completely never show any emotion whatsoever in anything they do. And maybe that's like part of what it takes to work in hell. Like maybe you can't show emotion, you can't have those
Mhm.
emotions, and so you got to pour that out somewhere else.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was my favorite part. I loved Hazuki. I loved his character. I thought he
Mhm.
was unique. Definitely not what you typically see in the protagonist for an anime. You know, a lot of
Mhm.
times you got that goofy, heroic dude that and I guess I'm assuming he's going to be the protagonist, but
Mhm.
I would think so since it's his show.
Yeah.
But yeah, you usually have that goofy like teenage Naruto style, and even Trigun has that element. Like
Mhm.
Vash is a pretty goofy dude,
Yeah.
but to see that, like I thought it was unique for an anime. It was definitely different.
Yeah. It was. That was you pretty much spot on with me. Is the sarcasticness, the kind of the dark humor. Kind of that's what I did like really most about it. Also learning a little bit more of Hozuki's character, because I feel like you, I feel like it's gonna be really wrapped around Hozuki, who's gonna be the protagonist in Hell. But I mean, to me, it's like, what are they gonna do after this?
Yeah, and
But
it was almost like I found him boring at first, but then like you
yeah,
start to unravel that there's complex layers to this dude.
yeah.
You know what I'm
There's
saying?
like an onion.
There's something down there that
just
I
like
want to
you,
find out
just
about.
like you, Ginger. There's so many onion. There's so many pills. You're like an onion.
Yeah, yeah.
There's so many
Ogre's like, hey,
layers.
that's the dude did think he was an ogre.
Yeah,
He
that's
has
right.
layers.
That's right. That's right. And then I guess kind of goes into what we didn't like. I mean, I'm with you. I found it was boring. For a lot of with the if you didn't pick up that sense of humor and you don't have that kind of dry, sarcastic, dark humor, if you don't like that, it's going to be really boring for you. For me, that's how it was in the beginning when I
For
first
sure.
thought about it. I thought it was hilarious. I did. I mean, at times, but there's a lot of like in the very beginning, it had me going, okay, the dark introduction explained what the hells were, the subdivisions, what happened after the war, which kind of created more hell being overpopulated, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's what was going through, just to hold me to it. But I mean, with that, and then it goes to goofiness. For me, the highlight for me was the goofiness part of the song, the jolly introduction. To me, it was a highlight. But for what I didn't like is just it was boring. Like I just got my time. Like I'm almost zoned off some of the parts. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, until I
It's
caught on to the funny parts. But
Yeah, it's definitely one of those that like, especially since there's not a dubbed version,
hmm
you can't just kind of turn it on and background it.
yeah,
Like you've got to pay attention to every
hmm
word that's said if you want to catch everything.
yeah,
And it definitely missed me too on a whole lot of stuff. It There were definitely some boring parts, and then
hmm
especially if you're an anime action person,
hmm
this is definitely not the show for you. Like
no,
there's just like maybe two action things that happen in the entire episode,
yep,
and the rest of it is just dialogue and stuff.
yeah,
But I kind of liked that part, honestly. Like I said earlier, I thought it was very Tarantino-esque,
hmm
and I really love Tarantino. I thought it was clever in a way that like it's you have to pay attention, and you have to you know the jokes will fly over your head real quick.
Yeah.
I almost want to rewatch it to see what else I catch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I'd say worst part for me, um, honestly, I like, and this is such a like non-anime fan thing to say, but
It's
it's
fine.
it's the lack of dubs, man. Like
Yeah.
having to read the thing and like try to see their facial expression and read the
Mm-hmm.
dialogue and know exactly what's going on was just rough. And like I'm not used to that because I don't watch a whole lot of anime.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was probably my worst part, but I know that's like a super rookie thing to say. So
No, honestly, no, I don't think it is, because the thing is, for me, the whole point of bringing in guests is to have people who have watched anime, who love anime, people who don't, who've never really watched it, maybe interested, or just, hey, come on, check this show out, and we just get a kick out of it. If you don't like it, fine. If you do like it, you might become an anime lover. That's the reason I love this show right now. What I'm trying to do, but I don't think it's a rookie thing, because the thing is, if you're
yeah,
just now getting anime and you don't want to read subtitles, you never really watched any foreign films or anything like that where they're speaking a different language, but you have to read what they're saying in English. No, I
yeah,
think it does add value to what a lot of these companies are trying to do is, of course, they're trying to get more dubbed out, but what they face trying to bring people in to watch these shows, because a lot of people don't
yeah.
like reading subtitles. My wife doesn't care for it either. So I mean, it's
No,
like,
it's like that actually makes me feel good that you got that same opinion because like
mm-hmm,
or that you have the opinion, that my opinion is valuable because
mm-hmm,
like definitely I feel like a newcomer, on the
mm-hmm,
anime scene. So I'm sure that I'll grow. And like you
mm-hmm,
mentioned foreign movies, like I'd
mm-hmm,
love some foreign movies. Like
mm-hmm,
I think it's the Japanese stuff that like they talk so fast, and
mm-hmm,
especially with anime, it's very fast talking all the
yeah,
time. So it's hard to catch everything
mm-hmm,
and still see the show.
mm-hmm,
But stuff like Pan's Labyrinth, that's one of my favorite movies of all times, man. So definitely I could see if I got more used to it, if I
mm-hmm,
just did it more often, watched more anime, then
mm-hmm.
that would probably fade. I think I would be able to keep up better.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's something. It's. I wouldn't want to say it's acquired taste, but it might be close to being an acquired taste,
Yeah.
because you have to
It's
do it
probably
more
just
and
like
more and
watching
more.
normal subtitles. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how your viewers feel about normal subtitles, but they're the best thing to ever happen to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I can
Yeah.
keep the volume low and watch TV and not wake up the kids or wake
That.
up the
Oh,
wife.
the same way,
And
man.
then
That's
like
yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then like if I'm crunching on chips,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't hear what's going on, like I
Yeah.
can read and I can see
Mm-hmm.
what's happening. So I've grown to love subtitles in my old age.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and dude, no, we have subtitles on everything.
Oh yeah.
Even if because even if the kids are not sleeping, they're yelling or doing something around the house. If we're trying to watch something, listen to something, and they're doing something else, we have the subtitles on so we can't actually read what they're saying. So yeah, I totally
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
What did you
Yeah,
think
I'm
of
the
the
same way.
animation?
The animation, I dug it. Like
Mm-hmm.
so it was kind of an illusion, like because the first that opening sequence where they're showing this map and it's like burning pieces of the map and there are
Mm-hmm.
different symbols driven on it, and then there's like almost like calligraphy looking stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
artwork, things like that. And it
Yeah.
seemed like it was gonna have a very serious tone to the animation. I don't know if that's a good description of animation, serious, but it seemed like
Mm-hmm.
it was going to be a little more realistic and a little less artsy.
Yeah.
But as soon as that pop song kicks in, like it gets artsy real quick. So I enjoyed that contrast. It was
Yeah.
cool to see somebody able to merge those styles into one show.
Yeah. To me, it really felt like, and only thing I can like as a general view for me, it was like it really reminded me of the first like Dragon Ball Z or maybe Dragon Ball style animation. You said this earlier, we were talking beforehand. You said the same thing, and I agree.
Yeah,
You said when you said that, I agree. That's how it felt. Like it came in 2011, but to me, it had that older mid 90s, late 90s maybe style of animation. And I actually did like the animation. I liked how Hozuki looked serious, and then the King Enra, whatever his name was the goofy
yeah. He
looking
was just
dude, of
always
course.
extravagant. Yeah,
Yeah. And I like that because I like the contrast between characters in the animation because it keeps things not so stale and you see different characters. But yeah, I thought it was great. I thought the animation was actually fairly well done, fairly well. It's just different seeing that and then knowing it was like, what? 2011, what? But it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um,
That's awesome, man. That's like the difference between the rookie and the guy who watches anime a lot. Like you had like this scientific breakdown of like this year's anime looks different,
oh
than
man, I
now.
love.
Like I couldn't have even told you that because I don't watch enough anime. So it's
No,
cool to get the contrasting opinion, of someone who like knows what they're talking about.
I would say that, but I love animation though. I do. I
Yeah,
just
I watch cartoons. Does
yeah,
that count? Like it's
yeah. Oh
not.
yeah, it's animation literally though. I mean, it's all animation.
I love
I feel like
cartoons,
it
man.
does.
Oh,
I
sweet. We're totally getting down on some Bugs Bunny or
oh
something
gosh. Oh
next
man,
time.
I could go on bugs. Oh man. Anywho, but anywho, but yeah. So, the animation was great. So the question, the whole thing that's been said, all we said, or if you want to do this, I don't. It's kind of spot. I mean, if you want to rate it, I don't want to rate. So let's just say this: would you continue watching the second episode,
So
or continue on with the series?
I will say this is a long setting opinion because we watched this. We had planned on doing this show.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, a week ago?
Yeah, it was a week ago.
Yeah. So I watched this a week ago, and at the time, all the way through the episode, like the first part of the episode, I was like, oh, I like this. I could dig it.
Mm-hmm.
The second part of the episode, I was lost. I was lost in the sauce, man. So like I was like, yeah, there's no way that I would continue watching this. And then he won the Australian sweepstakes and it was kind of a cliffhanger and I was like, well, hell, I gotta watch, the next episode and see if he goes to Australia, what kind of madness is he gonna get into in Australia?
Right.
But then as we talked about it tonight though, and in hindsight, I enjoyed it a whole lot more than I realized that I did at the time. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say for anyone who tries this anime out and who watches it, sit on it for a minute before you decide. Don't stick with your first opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Sit on it for a second, think about it, and then decide if you want to watch it.
Gotcha. So
But I
would
would I would definitely say yes. Like I definitely want to watch
get dope.
more of this anime.
Gotcha.
Especially it's only what is it? It's in its third season now? Or
I
it's
don't
about to be in its
know.
third season.
Honestly, I'm not for sure. I know there's 2 seasons. As for a third, I don't know. I don't know too much about it, other than kind of what we just spoke about with the Wikipedia. I know it has quite a bit of chapters in its manga. Manga has where's the Tokubon? 31 Tankobon volumes. So 30 volumes. I don't know. It could be. I'm a little new to the manga because I read manga, but I use the Shonen Jump app, and it just does all chapters. So volumes are
Looks
like the
like
books.
it looks like season 3 came out September of 2020.
Oh, season 3. There's actual season 3.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If I'm reading this right,
Gotcha.
it says 3 more OADs. I don't know what OAD stands for.
I think original animation something. I forget what it is. But yeah. But yeah. So that's crazy. With me, if I'm gonna continue, I was the same with you. I thought it was boring. As we started talking about it more, I was like, well, man, I might change my decision. But that's the whole thing. The second part. It was boring, but it was cool to get to understand more of who Hozuki is and the relationship between him and his boss, and what his boss thought about him, and vice versa. And they kind of chit chatting. But I mean, what got me was like you is like all of a sudden he won that that Australian
Yeah.
sweepstakes. Like, oh, he all of a sudden
Is he going to get to
I'm gonna
cuddle with
take-
a
I'm-
wallaby? Like, when do we find
I
out?
know. And he also he's like, I'll request vacation now, sir. Blah, blah. I'm gonna put mine in. I'm gonna head out to this. Blah blah. And now you want to know, like you said, what's he gonna do now? This is
You know
gonna
what
be like
sucks though? Like I know that this is not like a linear show.
Mhm.
So like I think you can watch episode to episode without having to go in order or whatever.
Mhm.
It's gonna suck if we watch it and then they never talk about Australia.
I know.
I just thought of that. I was like, oh man, what if I watch the next episode and it doesn't have anything to do with Australia? But maybe it'll hook me, on a different reason. Who knows?
Yeah, but yeah, this whole point, like, that's the reason why I love watching the first episode, first season. Is it enough to capture you? If not, because generally, I'll go real quick on mine. I would go just to see the second episode, like you. I would say yes. If you get through some of the mundane parts, and if you understand some of the humor, I mean, there's some pretty funny parts, but a lot of it is kind of boring dialogue, or not even dialogue, just them kind of chit chatting what's going on
Yeah.
right at that current event, that current time.
And it's almost like conceptual humor. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like the concept of it's funny, but the
Mhm.
actual demonstration of it isn't quite that humorous. So you kind of have to think on a different level than actually watching
Yeah.
a TV show or an episode.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would continue on to see what happens next. I mean, in general, animes you sometimes have to watch 4 or 5 episodes to get into the anime, to be honest. But with this
Yep.
episode, yeah, I mean, it had a cliffhanger. It definitely got me at the end. Like, what's it gonna do now? You know, the whole purpose of a first episode. So I think it did its
Yeah.
job as a first episode, to be honest. So yeah, I'm with you. I would continue.
I do too. Honestly, man, I don't think I was going that way until
Yeah.
we had the conversation.
Yeah.
Like I had planned on this episode ending with me saying, "Nah, and I'm not interested in watching the next episode." But
Gotcha.
I kind of do want to watch the next episode now.
I'll give you
Didn't
another
I
one.
offer a reward in my Discord for whoever gets me to like a show?
I guess so. I forgot about it, to be honest.
Like technically, I chose the show, but I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I think
You
this
like it?
counts.
If you, I'll give this one out too. To everybody, I've done the episode on this on another channel, but I'll just go here. If you got kind of like a little bit of action, a little like misdirection in shows, kind of plot twists all over the place. Future Diaries. And I think I sent you this one where I did a spill on it on the first episode, and I've actually watched the whole season. Future Diaries. I definitely recommend people watching this. It is very good. It surprised me, to be honest. I think it's 12, 13, maybe 25 episodes. I can't remember, to be honest. But I was glued. I was addicted to that. That was whenever we had our third son during the new infant stage where we were getting asleep, getting asleep. That was my anime, man. That was good. I definitely recommend people watch Future Diaries. Give it a few episodes, but definitely it is good. It's like one of my top 5 literary animes I've watched. So anybody's wanted something new to watch, I'll probably try to do that every other show or recommendations. But yeah, man.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah, Future Diaries is pretty good. It's like it's really like one of my top 5 right now.
I think I've heard. I think this might be one of the ones that I read about when I was looking for an episode
Oh, really?
of something, because I was kind of looking. I was trying to look at like lesser known or lesser um reviewed episodes, just episode or like TV shows that not many people had seen or that were underrated, and I think that came up on the list.
Gotcha. And I actually just finished up. If you like if anybody out there loves shoujo shows, shoujo just younger female like romance animes. That's really good. Toradoras was really good. I finished watching that. It's 25 episodes. And it's just basically about kind of high school love, romance. I love you. You don't know I love you. You know, it's the kind of stuff like that. I'm kind of a shoujo person too, so I like those kind of animes. If you guys like
get
that,
my daughter to watch it, like, will it teach her good lessons?
it may.
Because God knows she doesn't listen to me. Like,
it's definitely
no matter what Dad says, he's wrong. But maybe if I see it in a romantic show,
it's one of those like it's a teenage drama. Torador's appearance, a teenage drama, and actually, I'll put a plug in here because I told you already about them. Anime Night Podcast was a person we know, and him and his friends are, talking about different animes every night. And they actually finished their first season. Definitely go check them out. Anime Podcast, Anime Night Podcast, and they're really good. But that's how only way I found about Toradoras. And it's a shoujo, and it's about 4-5 characters and 2 people, like 2 other characters in the show, and they're like helping each other, trying to get them hooked up with the other person. That they're whoever they like. It's pretty good. But yeah, it's kind of teenage stuff, but it's pretty good. But yeah, your daughter might like it.
I don't know if I could get into the Degrassi. of anime. I just don't know if I could handle it. I
Oh,
watch
it's not for
so
everybody, man. That's good.
me and my wife are in the middle of binging Gilmore Girls right now, so I really just don't
Oh,
have time for another
hey, I watch
romance
Gilmore
in my
Girls too, man.
life. But uh but
It's
no,
good.
like you mentioned Jake and them, like
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
to further your plug, one of their first or the first episode that came up, I think it was like the eighth episode in the series or whatever.
Yeah.
But the caption on it was, "Do Titans even have a digestive system?"
Yeah.
And it made me think about we had this conversation once. We were watching Transformers, and you know how the theme song to Transformers says "robots in disguise,"
Robots in
you know, real fast
disguise.
at the end. Yeah. So
Mhm.
we were watching that, and they said that, and somebody said robots into guys, and then somebody else was like, "No, it's robots eating pies." And then we sat down and had like a 30-minute conversation on whether a robot would eat a pie and
Wow.
why not. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it
um.
definitely sounds like a good podcast. I'm excited to check it out.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully some other people will too.
Oh yeah. They've actually become like, not because I know him, of course, and he's a really good guy. But yeah, I've actually they have a great chemistry. Them three, as Jake and Maddie and Caleb, they have a great chemistry, and I think you guys should check them out. But yeah, thanks, man. We're just going to conclude the show, and thanks for coming out. And you've been a great guest, and I'm hopefully this doesn't deter you. I know you liked it, but kind of didn't at the same time. But I hope it doesn't deter you from other animes. I'm always able to give some good recommendations or stuff I did like or didn't like, or I didn't like, you may actually like. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
beauty of anime, and people what people like and don't. But yeah, thanks, man.
No, man.
You've been great.
Thanks for having me, dude. It's awesome. I'm definitely happy that I watched this anime, and
Mm-hmm.
I hope to get further into anime. It's very big in my scene. You know, everybody that I hang out with and play D&D with or
Mm-hmm.
nerd out with on video games or whatever, they all
Yeah,
watch anime. So
yeah,
I think this is good for me. I'll watch some more,
yeah. Oh
get
yeah,
stuff going.
awesome, man.
Oh
I
yeah,
love
I
seeing it.
found so you it's funny. I stopped streaming a
Mm-hmm.
couple of months ago because my internet's bad.
Mm-hmm.
You just won a free sub to my stream. So,
Oh, thank you, man.
congratulations. You're the
Thank
big
you.
winner.
Oh, I
Winner
felt so
chicken
excited.
dinner.
Winner,
Yeah.
winner, chicken dinner.
You're going to be the sub to a channel that has no emotes and doesn't stream anymore.
Oh, I'm very happy with my win.
You
It's all good.
you win some, you lose some, I guess.
Hey, you're definitely a good guy, man. I appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It was fun chatting. Hopefully we get to do this again.
For sure. Thanks, everybody listening. Have a good one. Bye.